before I do another video in this book, I want to talk a little bit about how my videos have been lately, because I don't know if you guys have really noticed, but for the past couple weeks they haven't quite been as on the mark as they have been, and just, life's been hectic. I've been trying to do every Tuesday and Thursday like I did for, the past month or so, but I recently went to a convention over Memorial Day weekend, and that sort of threw my schedule off because I had to prepare for that, and then there was a huge fiasco once I got back from that. So the week before that and the week after that were both completely thrown off. And I don't know, the week before that, the last full week of May, I had only put out one video, and as many times as I tried to film another video, it couldn't come together. I had too much other stuff going on, and so I said, okay, the week after that, I can do a bonus video, do 3 videos in 1 week, which is what I usually do, and try and show you, the cool stuff that I got at the convention. But then that couldn't happen because there was a huge fiasco with my luggage, which got lost, and just recently I got my stuff back, so I did get my stuff back, but I had to kind of go through hell to deal with that. But all is well now. I am at some point going to show you all the cool stuff that I got at this convention, because, I don't know, I like showing off my stuff, as you may have seen from some of my other videos. But, yes, so that will happen. I'm also kind of trying to figure out how to do one of these little channel trailer things. Trying to, I guess, plan one out that sort of talks about the whole ASMR aspect while still talking about what I'm trying to achieve in my non-ASMR pursuits, regarding my poetry and prose and other poems that I cover and stuff like that. But yeah, there you go. That's where I've been as of late. Anyway, now I'm going to go into another poem from this. I was considering whether or not I should do what I did previously and sort of skip around for the sake of theme, but I realized that would involve an awful lot of skipping around if I were to try and keep poems together. So instead I'm just going to go chronologically. So the next poem, this one's called Meaning. It was written in spring of 2012, so that would be a couple years ago. Yeah. And this was written when I was still taking my poetry class. So, I mentioned in a previous video in my, I think the serial killer poems, my Ted Bundy poem was written for this class, and so this is another poem that was written for that class, and the assignment here was to write a poem that was similar to a specific author, or something to that effect. So that's what this one's about. Well, not about, but that was the prompt. And here we go. It's called Meaning. There is something these dendrites at the end of my fingertips cannot touch. A pastime where I could pass time doing what I don't really know. Now I climb trees, hoping their antenna branches can contact satellites because they know all the answers. Why we feel in neurotransmitters and the difference between what makes people tick and what makes them talk. This knowing, it feels like electricity in my veins. It feels like my cells are galaxies. It feels like there are more wonders in this world than there are fingers to count them with. My lungs have holes in them for my breath to escape through, even though it is already taken far too easily. We are all miracles. Carbon-based we may be, but then again, so are diamonds. We are all diamonds. Sharp and clear, and if there's one thing I know, it's that satellites are always right. So, this poem is sort of about, at the time I was sort of going through a struggle trying to balance my artistic side and my scientific side. So, I guess my artistic side is evident in the fact that I'm reading these poems that I've written, but the scientific side is sort of, I was raised in a very scientific community. My parents were scientists. I have a lot of family members who were scientists, and I myself studied psychology in college, and for a period of time I studied biology as well. So, a lot of, science in my background. And I mean, you've seen, I have a couple of videos on here that talk about, like synesthesia and organic chemistry and stuff. But, I found trouble in, consolidating the two, because my two major groups of friends in college were poets, and scientists, basically. They each stood on their own side of that issue, and I couldn't find very many people who stood in the middle like I did. So, that's what this poem is about, and it talks about a lot of, it talks about science in a poetic way, which is something that I really like doing. Sort of, inspired by Carl Sagan's Cosmos, or, now they have, the Neil deGrasse Tyson version, but, yeah. With, for example, your cells are galaxies, or how, we are all diamonds, because, we're carbon-based life forms, and diamonds are all made of carbon. So, there you go. And then there's there are all these metaphors in it. So, like, science imagery, like, the dendrites and neurotransmitters, and then there's the technology versus nature, where I talk about satellites and antennas versus, climbing trees and branches and stuff like that. So, there we go. The next poem was written in fall of 2012, so I guess closer to a year and a half ago by now, but yeah, it was written about my last relationship when it was first starting out, so yeah, it's in essence a love poem. It's called Mirror Images. You and I are mirror images, two whole pieces that fit. We have loved like adults when we were children. Now we love like adults even though we are children. We are still just children. What do we know about love? We know that beautiful things do happen even in a world laden with hate, and sometimes you just need to cherish the cheeses and cafes of this world. Now you've started taking me places, and it's impossible to remember how I felt about anything before the first time your lips touched mine. It's like the moment you touch me, my mind can draw nothing but blinks, and the only words I know are lost inside your body. You can call me your sun, claiming you reflect my light, but all I care to call you is mine, fully and completely. Now we say forever like we say tomorrow, and for every fairy I catch, I wish that happily ever afters came true so I could have one with you. And maybe I grew up wishing too much for a prince and not enough for a person, but just my luck. I found both in you. Thinking back, it's really obvious that when I wrote this, I was in, like, the honeymoon phase that people talk about, because, you know, it's very obviously idealizing this relationship, and again, now we know that the relationship didn't quite work out, even though I'm still friends with them, you know? Like, all is well. This isn't like some harsh breakup thing that I'm gonna go on about, but it's just simple. It sort of explains in a very simple way what it feels like to be in love. So that's why I like that one. Let me see. I think I am going to read one more poem for you guys. This one is called Healing Powers. It was written around the same time. And I think I'll read this one and then talk about it. I once thought that when I grew up, I would have healing powers, and I still think that sometimes, but on days when all I want to do is mend, it doesn't help that your life has too many lost jigsaw puzzle pieces that aren't under the couch or between the cushions. You have as many wrinkles in your face as I do in the frontal lobe of my brain, but baby, your crow's feet give you away. So I'd scrunch up my face, trying to look older, furrow my mind, thinking maybe I could heal you, but while most of us have scars, your heart is made of scar tissue, and it's amazing how it still manages to keep beating. Maybe if I could iron out the wrinkles in your face, I wouldn't have to feel the need to be older. Maybe you watered me with your tears one too many times, and now I'm sick to my stomach from all the sodium. And maybe it would have been nicer if I had found that last puzzle piece for you, but I assure you, you'll find it, but only when you stop looking. So this is about someone who I was very close to, who had a lot of issues that they needed working through. And the closer I got to that person, the more I wanted to heal them, you know, have a sort of emotional healing powers where I could make all of their problems go away. And I slowly realized that nobody can do that. I cannot make anyone's problems go away. I can just make things easier while I'm here with them. In whatever way I can do that, in whatever ways they'll let me do that. You know, whether it's by being their shoulder to cry on, or, you know, going and helping them out in a more physical sense. You know, like helping a friend move, or sitting them down and talking through a rough situation. So, and that's kind of a thing that I still struggle with sometimes. Just the fact that you can't save everyone, because I feel like I am that kind of person, and that's why I have been drawn to the field of psychology, is that this is how I can help people. So if I use this to help people, I can, you know, sort of, I guess, optimize the number of people I would be able to help, you know. This is what I'm best at, and if I use this to help people, then I know that I'm making the world a little bit better, even if it's just for a few people, you know. I'm not going to, you know, cure cancer or anything big like that, but if I can make the world better for a handful of people at a time, I feel like I've done my part. So, on that note, I will see you guys next time. I'm gonna try and see if I can do 3 videos this week. I can't promise anything. I have already filmed another video, a sounds video, which is a bit strange. It's sort of me going through this button collection I used to own as a kid and just picking out the buttons and sorting it out and taking out the sort of crumbled remains of like a rubber band or something, and then putting it all back together and counting all the buttons. But yeah, that was a pretty long video considering, but I hope you like it, and I will further explain that little box of buttons in a future video. So, you guys have that to look forward to. And yeah, at the very least, you know you will have 2 videos this week, and hopefully I will be able to put a third maybe this weekend or something. But yeah, that's it for today. I'll see you guys next time.